Hello and welcome back. I'm back in the sandbox with creative mode. So a while ago I showed you a design for modular walls, and I've been using that in my base in a box playthrough. And it basically works, but there were a couple of things that needed improving. So let's find the original book. Okay, so here we are. This is the bridgehead piece, and this kind of illustrates most of the problems. Okay, so let's put down a power so we get rid of at least the power flash. That's it. Okay, so this is one of the wall modules. The idea of this is that we have modules which have an artillery station. Then these supply ammo to turrets. There's a train stop that refuels. It supplies ammo here and shells here. Then there's some combinators which turn on the train stop when something needs refueling. And that's all fine, that all sort of works. There's also some setups here which I haven't properly got implemented to supply the wall with repairs and bots and things like that. Okay. In the old build, the belts to the left and the belts to the right were mirrored. So if you look here, we've got the inserters to the right and the pylons to the left. Okay, so here we have inserters to the left, pylons to the right. And what this meant was that there were certain things about the design which didn't quite tile. So that's the opposite way around. You can see it more clearly now. So although it did tile, there were some inconsistencies where parts joined. So the first thing I've done is work on those inconsistencies. So if we look here, these are now always pylons to the right. Okay, and that removes a couple of edge conditions where you're gluing these together, where we were getting a couple of pylons back to back with each other. It didn't affect the functionality, but it was ugly. There were also some weirdnesses where you can extend this to the left with a segment, with a left pointing segment, and you can extend this side to the right with a right pointing segment. And sometimes if you have two of these artillery stations, you might have an artillery station, then an extend to the right, then an extend to the left, and the next artillery station. Where the right and the left extend abutted one another, there was a nasty overlap. So I've cleaned that up as well. Where are we? Here. So this is the new extend to right and the new extend to left. And you can see they're asymmetric. They overhang a bit more. So the extending to the left one overhangs a bit extra on the right. The extending rightwards one overhangs a bit on the left. That means that they snap together nicely. The ending prematurely at the end here and at the end here, that ensures that when you're gluing them all together, there's a gap. Look, this belt ends at the final inserter, and this belt also ends at the final inserter. Okay, so this ensures that everything lines up. In fact, I probably could take away these two belt segments. There isn't a turret there, because if you put that on, when you overlap this segment with this segment, both of them are trying to satisfy this turret. So I've given priority to the one which is extending to the right. It was arbitrary which one I picked. It kind of makes sense to do this one though, because it shortens the amount of belt you need by a single piece of belt, which I'm sure will make all the difference in a real game. The other thing I've done, the original walls, let's go back over here, right, where were we? Here. The original walls were built for a Raining Bullets playthrough, so pretty much the only thing I was using to defend myself was bullets. Later on I started using these guys, the flamethrower turrets, and I can thoroughly recommend them. They really do work. they're no good on their own, because the first couple of bugs tend to get through. You need to have a wall in front to hold the bugs up so you can kill them, and then the wall takes some damage. Anyway, so I was slapping down these where I needed them. I was also finding myself reinforcing some bits of wall with turrets. Okay, and you can immediately see the problem. So I've not left enough room to get lasers and flamethrowers here. Also, it's pretty arbitrary how you extend this further to the right and further to the left. So what I've done is re-architect this so that it has the flamer turrets and the lasers in place. And then if you were doing a Raining Bullets playthrough, you'd place the blueprint, but you wouldn't put down the laser turrets. This splitter is 2 tiles wide, which is exactly 1 laser, so by centering things on here, it all centers very nicely. These are exactly 1 underground apart, which actually strides, so every second one is lined up with the lasers. The odd numbered one points between the lasers. If you had a particularly heavily attacked area, you can also always stick in extra ones of these. You know, that would work fine. If you wanted to. But I haven't put that on the blueprint because that really is overkill for what I'm doing. Maybe in a death world. Okay, so that's the extra killing. And of course, we now have the extra killing added to the extend to left and extend to right. And these are done so that the final 2 of these is the final 2 at the other end. So it all overlaps. It has an overlap of exactly 1 set of flamer turrets. And of course the lasers line up as well. So that's all fine. However, also in my playthrough, what I was finding was that this works really well for small biters and medium biters. It fails for medium and large splitters. Now let's see if I don't know how to do this. Right, let's take a behemoth splitter. And I don't know if we can upset it. Let's get some yellow ammo, see if that... I've never tried to use the creative mode for this stuff. Okay. So is this going to attack it? I don't know what I have to do to attack it. I've never tried to do this before, so I don't really know how it works. I wanted to put this down and get it to attack, but I don't seem to be able to. See if I can aggro it with a grenade. I don't know if that'll work. No, it doesn't care. Okay, well that was a fail. Anyway, these spitters, they are within range to be able to spit back to the flame turrets. So bad things happen. So you kill stuff, but when they come in big packs, they eat through the wall and they spit out the turrets, which then puts gaps in your defense and then you die. Okay, so the solution to this is to put down teeth. So the idea of this is the flamer turrets can flame well past the teeth. The lasers a bit past, and the ammo not quite as far. So yeah, so the idea here is that all 3 of the types of weapon can attack things as they get to the outside of the teeth, at which point they get caught up in the teeth. which slows them down and gives the turrets a chance to kill them. If they're spitters, they've got a lot of wall to spit over. So hopefully that means that they can't actually spit onto my turrets. If they can, I will just make the wall deeper until it's deep enough that they can't attack, basically. So that should keep my turrets a lot safer. I've done versions of this with the Dragon's Teeth for everything. The entertaining one to do was the corner. Just because of counting, these are out of phase with one another. There's no way to do this in phase, so I just stuck some solid wall down the middle. It's the corners that I'm experiencing the heaviest attacks on, or at least the most deadly attacks. So what I've done here is basically put in all the flamethrowers to the corner. So the corner is very heavily defended. I've put in some extra lasers. So basically anything that comes to the corner is going to have a bad day. And I'm all about bad days for attackers. The only other thing to say, with these hen's teeth, there's space here to send rail out if we... Yeah. Okay. Put wall back, make this the minimum hole. All right. So that was one thing that was wrong in my playthrough, actually. I didn't have rail under here, which meant that I had to pull things up. But anyway, there we are. So as and when you get to the point of wanting to lay rails, obviously you are going to need to pull up the Dragon's Teeth in line with the rails. But I don't want to intentionally leave gaps in my defences, so I'm leaving the Dragon's Teeth in place. It's up to you to remove them as and when you want to actually use the rail. Okay, so that's it really. That's the walkthrough. I'm going to make a modified railbook with all these pieces in, and then I will upload it to Factorio prints at the old location, so there'll just be a new version of the old print. And feel free to have a play, see if it works for you, comments on the blueprint. I'd like to know if it works for other people, not just for me. And that's it. So I'm just going to carry on fixing this while I notice those issues. Thanks very much. Hope you enjoy. Let me know if it works. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. Thanks very much. Bye.